In a quiet village surrounded by wide fields and gentle hills, there lived a farmer named Elijah. Elijah was not poor. He was not struggling. In fact, he had something many others wished for. He owned a piece of land. It wasn't large, it wasn't impressive, but it was enough. Enough to grow crops, enough to provide for his family, enough to build a stable and peaceful future. Every year when the planting season arrived, the entire village seemed to come alive. Before sunrise, lamps would flicker on in small homes. Doors would creak open. Footsteps would echo on the dry ground. Farmers would step out into the cool morning air, tools in hand, ready to begin. There was a rhythm to their lives, a discipline, an understanding that the season would not wait for anyone. They cleared weeds, turned the soil, prepared the land with care. Then, gently and intentionally, they planted their seeds. Each movement carried purpose. Each day mattered. But Elijah was different. Elijah had a habit, a quiet one, a subtle one, a dangerous one. He delayed. Every season it began the same way. He would wake up, step outside, and look at his field. The soil stretched before him, untouched and full of potential. And he would think to himself, "It's still early. I have time." So instead of beginning, he would go back inside. "Tomorrow," he would say, "tomorrow I'll start." The next day would come, the sun would rise again, the village would move again, and once again Elijah would look at his field. Still untouched, still waiting, still full of opportunity. "I'll begin tomorrow," he would whisper. And so he rested. Days passed, then more days. Each morning the same promise, each evening the same delay. Meanwhile, the other farmers were working. Slowly their fields began to change. The rough ground became smooth. The empty soil became organized rows. Seeds disappeared into the earth. From a distance you could see transformation happening. But Elijah's field remained exactly the same. Untouched, still, silent. Weeks went by, and one morning, something shifted. Elijah stepped outside, looked around, and paused. For the first time, he noticed something unsettling. The other fields were no longer empty. Small green leaves had begun to rise from the soil. Life had started to appear. Growth had begun. The work of others was now becoming visible. Elijah felt a slight discomfort in his chest, a quiet realization. "I've waited too long." That same day, he finally picked up his tools. He went to his field. He began to clear the weeds. He turned the soil. For the first time that season, he started. And to his credit, he worked hard, very hard. He woke up earlier, stayed out longer, pushed himself more than before. Day after day, he labored under the sun. Sweat ran down his face. His hands grew rough. He planted every seed with hope. In his mind, he told himself, "If I work hard enough now, maybe it will still turn out well." And so he worked, and he hoped. But there is something about life, something quiet but unchangeable. Time does not adjust for delay. Seasons do not extend themselves out of sympathy. There is a rhythm to growth, a timing to results. And once that timing is missed, it cannot be fully recovered. As the weeks passed, Elijah began to notice the difference more clearly. The other farmers' crops were rising higher. Their fields were becoming full. Green turned to gold. Stems grew thick. Leaves spread wide. Their work was maturing. But Elijah's crops were behind, much smaller, much weaker. Some struggled to grow at all. Still, he kept working. Still, he held on to hope. But deep down, he could see the truth. The season continued, and then harvest time arrived. It was a time of joy in the village. Families gathered in the fields. Laughter filled the air. Baskets were filled. Wagons were loaded. Golden crops stretched across the land. It was the reward of discipline, the result of consistency, the evidence of timely action. Everywhere you looked, there was abundance, except in one place: Elijah's field. His harvest was small, very small. Some crops had grown, but many had not matured. Some never fully developed at all. What could have been a season of plenty became a season of lack. Elijah stood in his field, silent. No complaints, no excuses, just understanding. He had worked hard, eventually, but the delay had already shaped the outcome. As the sun began to set, an older farmer walked slowly toward him. This man had seen many seasons, many harvests, many stories just like this one. He stood beside Elijah and looked over the field. For a moment he said nothing. Then gently he spoke. "The field," he said quietly, "always reveals the habits of the farmer." Elijah lowered his head. He knew it was true. The older man continued, "There is a time to rest, and there is a time to work." He paused, then added, "And when those times are exchanged, the harvest suffers." Then he quoted, "A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a thief. Not loudly, not suddenly, but quietly, gradually, unnoticed, until it is too late." That evening, something changed in Elijah. Not just his actions, but his understanding. For the first time, he truly saw what had been happening all along. Poverty is not always the result of bad luck. Failure is not always sudden. Often, it is built slowly, in small delays, in postponed effort, in comfortable excuses repeated over time. It grows quietly, day by day, choice by choice, until one day it shows up in the harvest. And by then, the season is already over. Success and failure often grow from the same soil, the same opportunities, the same potential, the same starting point. The difference is in daily habits, small choices, quiet disciplines. Because in life, just like in farming, the harvest will always reflect the habits of the season before it.